And as a kid, I always wanted to be on that adventure with him. Jump in the truck and go on.
And I love how the way you always explain this movie is you always really focused on him as a truck driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
special to me.
Yes. Yeah. And I can see how, you related with that a lot. And how the Pork Chop Express is pretty much a character of its own, the truck.
Yes.
And I feel like we were supposed to get a second movie, a sequel. Like the way this ends, just so open-ended. It ends with a creature literally on the Pork Chop Express as Jack Burton's driving away
into the distance, and then you zoom back and you zoom out and you come to the end of the truck, and
it's almost like an Aliens movie.
And there's a lot of like similarities you see in just the slightest way. They almost set up, well, what's Jack Burton's next adventure?
Yeah,
because of that creature's still alive. So who else is still alive?
Why didn't he kiss that girl?
I think that's in his character. It's in his nature to be kind of like a...
He kissed her when he wanted to.
Exactly.
But then at the end, you can tell she wanted.
He leaves her wanting more because she did want him at the the
As an audience member, that's what I got, though, too. You're left wanting more. Like, okay, what's next? More. I like all these characters now.
Exactly.
Let's get on the next adventure.
You want to see what's next.
Yeah.
Because everybody lived from the hero cast.
The press girl hooked up with Eddie.
Yeah.
And they're all hooked up. They got, he got his girl back, and then now she's left alone because Jack's off
doing his adventure. And that's the life of a trucker, dude. He's got to keep moving. He's got to keep moving.
Okay,
and that's what he says. He was like, every now and then, I'm gonna rub somebody the wrong way.
Yeah.
And then it's just gonna end. And they kind of allude to that in the whole movie. Lopan even tells him, he was like, you seem like someone who knows very well about relationships and how they seldom ever work out. Like he tells him straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Jack tells him, he goes, he says like, it's been 2,000 years, like you've never come across a girl, it's never worked out.
Yeah.
And he's like, of course there's been others, like there's always others, but it's just the whole movie, and I could line after line after line, and that's for me in this movie. There's a lot of epic classic lines, and they're either like little funny tidbits or like really epic, like that dialogue that he has at the end where he's talking about poison arrows falling from the sky.
I love that.
It's almost like he's busting a promo, like in wrestling. He's just like, bring it on. Like, I'm ready. What's my next adventure? And that's
whatever gets thrown at me. He said, shake the pillars of heaven.
It's just so epic. Like, he's literally telling a story right there. Just that little dialogue. He's like, bring it on. What's my next journey? I'm ready. And as a kid growing up watching that movie, I always wondered, like, is there going to be a part 2? I wanted a part 2. I wanted to see what was next for Jack Burton. And I don't know if you remember, but a couple years back, a certain favorite actor, wrestler of mine wanted to either make a part 2 or remake this movie.
Was that... Okay, I remember that. It was Batista.
No,
who was it? The Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He wanted to make a sequel to Big Trouble in Little China, and he wanted to play Jack Burton.
Yes. Or he wanted to play a character and still have Jack Burton in there some way, shape, or form.
Like
Kurt Russell.
He wanted to bring
Kurt Russell in, and also he wanted to see about getting John Carpenter back to work on the movie, whether it either be
and it
a
all
script,
fell apart, huh?
And he said, he goes, I don't want to touch it unless it's going to be epic. Unless it's going to be a really good film, because he did the same thing with Jumanji. He said the first one, so great. Robin Williams, like, you almost don't want to touch it.
You really don't.
Because it's beautiful. It's a piece of art. And so he goes, I'm not going to come into it unless it's going to be something that everyone I feel will know and love, and it continues that greatness of a story. And so that's what I think. I think he's just waiting. He's just biding his time till he comes across something. But I think that was his goal, is he wanted to get Kurt Russell and John Carpenter involved in some way, shape, or form. And unless he does, I don't think he's going to touch it. Because it's so epic.
My question is, if this movie, say if this movie, right, wasn't rushed, it came out, it was successful, they greenlit a second film, right?
Yeah.
Say if it made another 10 say if it came out even. It made another 10 million in box office. It came out kind of even. It got greenlit. They made a second one. Do you feel that the first one would have been a cult classic at that point?